Thanks to the support as a channel member, Will Johnson. The plan is very simple. Win every game between now and the end of the season, and we win 3 trophies. And, I mean, it's not as impossible as it sounds. There's like 6 games left in all competitions, and we've won more than 6 in a row already. Hello and welcome to Club 3, Part 6 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we switch focus just a smidgen because we're looking at the Cups today. We've got the FA Cup semi-final against West Ham. We're also going to show probably the second leg of the Conference League semi-final against Monaco, unless one of these league games between now and then turns into a title decider, in which case we'll switch gears, show us winning the league, and then I guess come back for the finals tomorrow, assuming we get to the finals. It's all very complicated, but as you can see, we're in very, very good form, apart from dropping a couple of points against Nottingham Forest. But this is what the league table looks like. We've got 5 games to play. We are top of the league by 1 point, much better goal difference, and a game in hand over Man City. We don't play any of the big clubs now for the rest of the season. The biggest challenge, I guess, is our rivals game against Liverpool, but this is a Liverpool who are down in 12th place. They theoretically shouldn't be any challenge, and we should have things wrapped up before then. Anyway, we are, like I say, in the semi-final of the FA Cup, where we face West Ham. Monaco are the first decent team we've faced in the Conference League. If we can beat them, it's a very winnable final. We should win the Conference League. If we don't win the Conference League, that's ridiculous. And I'd quite like to win a domestic double as well. That would all be super. Talking of domestic football, we now have a new best player in the Premier League, and his name is Charles Ilunga. I've given up on trying to force him into being a midfielder. He's the best striker in the world. Ireland is still up there as well as a top player. We've also got Scalvini and Costa in the media 11, and also Huri Sudakov, who we signed on loan from Spurs last summer. He joined us permanently this summer, is the 3rd best player in the league on average rating, as basically our rotation midfielder. And he's doing all right, isn't he? And then I also mentioned in the last episode, I think, did I mention in the last episode? I might not have done. We're trying to sign this guy. I think I mentioned we were looking at NXGN. This guy won the NXGN. Bruno Moniz. He's 19. He's got 2 caps for Portugal. He won NXGN. He won the Golden Boot at the Euro U21 Championships last summer. And he plays in the position that we want to strengthen most, right wing. We're just waiting for his work permit to go through. And then we've got him sorted as well. But the best young player in the world who just happens to be a model citizen. That's the missing piece of the puzzle. We're going to win the Champions League next year, and there's nothing you can do to stop me from doing it. I hope West Ham don't spoil my day. This is the team for the FA Cup semi-final. It's Costa in goal. A back four of Aketsi, Memishi, Scalvini and Sarau. Rocket at the base of the midfield. Mainu and Sudakov ahead of him. Van der Winden on the left. Lacey on the right. Ilunga up front. As you can see, we are rotating a bit. We're playing a lot of matches between now and the end of the season. Theoretically, none of them are ones that should trouble us. West Ham are one of the better teams we're playing. Monaco are one of the better, probably the best team we're still yet to play. So there's no like big 6 super teams that we've got to play in any competition, no matter what happens, apart, I guess, from an FA Cup final if we get there. But it is matches every 3 days between now and the last day of the season. So we are trying to rotate across all competitions just to try and keep a strongish, fitish team available for them. We've got some good strength in depth. I mean, the likes of Tim Rocket, he's come through our youth setup. We all love him because of his silly name, and we kind of need to make him a thing, but he's got 4 players ahead of him in the pecking order for that defensive midfielder position. So games like this, it's an important one for experience for him. If he's seriously going to be part of our team next year, he needs to be able to perform in an FA Cup semi-final against West Ham. So it's almost like a little bit of a recruitment exercise to see if Rocket is somebody that we could potentially use as a long-term replacement for Agate, or if we need to go and buy somebody else. And that's the kind of situation we're in with a few of these positions. Shea Lacey is another example of that. Both of the fullbacks are potentially under threat if we have a big amount of money to spend, because they're probably the 2 weakest points of the team now. We obviously let Delict go back in the summer. Scalvini's getting on a little bit, so there's maybe a vacancy for a centre-back. There's lots of players playing for positions next year. And I think there's a feeling around the football club. They know this is the beginnings of a great Manchester United team. We are going to win the league, if not this year, then next year. We are going to win the Champions League, if not next year, then the year after. And they all want to be a part of it. So they're playing for their places in this squad that they know is going to win some things. Serral with the corner, looking for Scalvini. He's not able to make a proper contact. And West Ham now have an opportunity for a counter-attack, which they've weirdly slowed right down and then laid it off to a fullback, which really smacks of a distinct lack of ambition. But, I mean, to be fair to them, they've defended valiantly in that first half. They've barely had a kick, but they've also stopped us from scoring. And I guess a team like them playing against a team like us playing the way we're playing, just stick 11 men behind the ball, try not to concede, and hope to catch us on a break with a set piece, a penalty shootout. It's their best route to the final. So they are doing a rather good job of that at the moment and completely shutting out our fancy attack. But this is where strength in depth comes in, because we've got more fancy attackers. So let's get Samu on. Let's get... we haven't got Ireland on the bench. That seems like a little bit of an oversight on my part. And we haven't got any other central midfielders on the bench. Right, let's bring Ayala on for a bit more attacking wallop from fullback. We don't really want this to go to extra time. We're going to go attacking. We're going to encourage the team. And we're hopefully going to grab ourselves a winner in normal time, because the last thing we want when we're already rotating the team because of fitness levels is extra time in these big matches to then tire us out and distract us for the league matches and potentially leave us with league banana skins. Because if we had to choose, the one we want more than anything is the Premier League. We don't really care about the FA Cup and the Conference League. They're nice to haves, but they don't really matter. We did a football goal, although Van der Winden potentially offside here. The referee is having a little look. Is it going to be given? Come on, ref. We want to just cruise through the rest of the season. It has been given. We can drop down back to a positive mentality. We'll have a look at the other angle of this to see how close this was. But it's our substitutions combining. Kuinov from midfield played it forward to Samu, and he slots Van der Winden in, and he was never close to offside. Let's drop back down to our normal positive mentality and hopefully not let West Ham back into the game. I mean, they've now got to change their game plan that they've been playing all along, because they've got to actually do some attacking. Scalvini's going to go forward. We're going to bring Lenny Yoro on to play at centre-back. Rocket's coming off. He's tired. He's not close to match fit. And then we'll also take off Shea Lacey. Youngster Thiago Bentes can come on the right-hand side. Another one playing for either a squad spot or a decent loan next year. Kuinov goes into that category as well. That's a dangerous pass from Sudakov. We get away with it, and now Yoro plays it to Ayala. Ayala goes past his man with ease, floats it over. I said we get a bit more attacking oomph from Ayala. There's your demonstration of it. And there's Samu, who after a slow start, an injury-riddled slow start to life in a Manchester United shirt, now is into double figures for the season. Bearing in mind he's been a backup all year long. That's not too bad. 10th goal of the season for him. And that is us booking a return visit here to Wembley for the FA Cup final. I haven't even looked at who's in the other semi-final. Is it being played now? I guess it'll be a surprise after the match. Another corner. And this, I thought that was Samu. It's Yoro now with his first goal of the season. And 3-0. It's all West Ham deserve, really. They played anti-football. They had absolutely no ambition. And we've put them in their place, as they deserved. They still haven't had a shot on target. They've still not really attempted any kind of attacking. This is fair, looking at the match stats. A 3-0 win. We've left it late to do, but it's very fair. And as soon as we went one ahead, they had to attack a little bit more. And we were always going to grab a couple more at that point. But that's us coming back to Wembley. Do we know who we're playing yet? Ipswich, who, of course, are the team that beat us 5-1 in the league. They'll fancy their chances there. I mean, they are 16th in the league. They could be relegated before the cup final, but they'll still fancy their chances because they've beat us 5-1 in the league. Right. I'm now going to play through at least a couple of Premier League matches. I don't think we're winning the league against Southampton or Cardiff. And then the next match will either be a Monaco game or a title decider. Well, 3 comfortable wins, 2 against Premier League teams, Southampton and Cardiff. Then we also beat Monaco, leaves the situation looking like this. Everyone else plays today, we play tomorrow. So we could potentially win the league without playing a match. So I thought I'd bring you along for it. Also thought I'd introduce you to Harry Black, who at 15 has just been called up to the England under-20s for the under-20 World Cup. I think we have a future forever goalkeeper. At 15 and 5'10", hopefully he's going to get a little bit taller before he turns 18. But he's quite a good one. He's already wanted by Arsenal and Tottenham, and we've got him tied down to a contract. Look at that money for a 15-year-old. Absolutely absurd. We've also confirmed that Bruno Muniz will be joining us as soon as summer arrives. And as soon as we officially qualified for the Champions League, we were given a transfer budget of 195 million. That's after these 2 signings. Manchester United have money to throw around. We're back in the Champions League next year. Will we be back in it as Premier League champions, though? Let's hit continue. We could win the league right now. We might have to do it against Crystal Palace. Did we? I mean, I don't think it's mathematical just yet. Oh, we made some money. So who did what? Manchester City drew against Brighton. Arsenal haven't played? But they have played. Oh, no, Arsenal lost against Bournemouth. It's being handed to us. So we're 6 points clear. 40 goals ahead of Man City on the goal difference. The only team that could catch us are Man City. And they'd need to win both of their last 2 games, but we lose both of ours, and there needs to be a 40-goal swing. So we're as good as there. A point against Palace now, and we get to see a trophy lift. And this is the 11. It's Costa in goal, a back 4 of Eketsi, Menino, Scalvini, and Serrao. Rocket at the base of the midfield. Mainu and Ireland ahead of him. Van der Winden on the left, Garnacho on the right, Ilunga up front. And we just need a point. Palace are in a relegation battle. We just need a point, and we've won so many consecutive games at this point. It would be quite upsetting if we didn't get the minimum point that we need, but that's what the league table would look like if it just ended now. So we'd be very happy if it just ended now. In other news, I'm already starting to ponder how I'm going to spend my £200 million transfer kitty, and I'm looking at Heilbronn, the striker who we signed for Coventry last summer, who has just won Premier League Young Player of the Month. He's still only 19. He's got a £72 million release clause. I'm thinking I might just bring him in, potentially, to let Samu leave, and we go with Ilunga and Van der Winden as our main strikers. We've obviously got the young Portuguese chap who's coming in, who can play up front and on the right-hand side. And then we'll have Heilbronn in as our backup out-and-out striker, potentially to take over as forever out-and-out striker. Although Ilunga's only a year older than him and is one of the best players in the world. But he might become a midfielder yet. Who knows? We've got so much quality here. And now we've got a really good goalkeeper coming through as well. So I guess once we've done Heilbronn, I'm assuming we do him. I'd quite like to see how he turns out, because I think he was a great find last summer. Probably, I'm thinking defenders. Not necessarily a centre-back, because we've got that 6'6" chap who's on loan at Barcelona who we can bring back. But maybe some fullbacks. We shall see. Maybe I'll bring Donnelly in from Coventry. You all loved him. Coventry, by the way, looking like they're not going to make it back into Europe, which is a little bit of a shame. But at least they've not had a complete collapse like AI teams often do when you leave as the player. And if we give them a massive pile of cash this summer for one of their star players, theoretically, they'll be able to use that to continue building. We've got some very tired legs. We are, even with the rotation, we are struggling to keep everybody fit for this running. We're playing so much football. But 3 changes there, including the youngster Bentes coming on and Samu getting another opportunity on up front. Remember, this 0-0 will be fine. We don't need to push on and try and grab a goal here. Otter is coming on the left, who's been a bit of a failure. I'm tempted to go and get the chap I had at Coventry, Hart, and get rid of Otter, because Hart's an English Wonderkid, and we'd quite like to have more English players in the team. We don't have loads of English players here. Right, a Palace about to break our hearts with a last-minute goal that's going to push this down the road a little bit. Oh, good job, we've got the best goalkeeper in the game. He flapped at it, but then saved himself. We've not really created anything today, have we? You can tell we're nervy. It's been nearly 20 years since Manchester United have won the Premier League. There are some incredible nerves on display today. but we have got 5 minutes of added time to hold on, and we are champions. Otter plays it all the way back to Costa. Costa to Kuenov, and now Bentes on the left-hand side. He tried to play it in, looking for Rocket. Can't find him, but Menino is there to cover. And now Otter. Another loose pass. You can see how nervy we are. It's just loose passes all over the place. We are going to give them a goal, aren't they? Football Manager's doing one of its annoying little twists. Oh, I hate this game sometimes. It has to have its little twists. We go very attacking. Do we get one more twist? There's 4 minutes of added time left to play. We're going very attacking. I'm berating the team. Get everybody forward. I can't believe that. That's ridiculous. Well, Man City are delighted. We play Sheffield United next, who are already relegated. Absolutely hideous. Right. We'll do one more match today. We're going to play Monaco in the second leg, and then we'll potentially have a triple header tomorrow as well, with the title decider, the FA Cup final and the Conference League final. I don't like doing 3-match episodes because they get too long, but I'll just talk fast. While all this is going on, I am still working on transfers and making my camera focus on my face. There we go. We've accepted a £58 million offer from Barcelona for Agate, so that's going to be another very expensive salary moved on, and we've obviously got lots of players who can come in and replace him, and we've activated Heilbronn's £72 million release clause, so hopefully that will be confirmed before the season is over as well. But for this game, we're resting Costa. He was a bit flappy in the last game, and Peretz is going to come in. Peretz has played a lot of the Conference League run anyway, so he comes in. I think this is the first Conference League game I've shown you. Ayala, Menino, Mamishi and Everton Antonio at the back. Agate, Larson and Sudakov in midfield. Ireland out wide on the left. We do play him there sometimes. Lacey on the right, and then Ilunga up front. We're already 2-0 up from the first leg, so this should just be rubber stamping our spot in the final, unless we are going full on bottle job mode, which I hope we're not, but I've played enough Football Manager over the years to know there's every possibility that we will, because the game does love to mess with you in situations like this. But hopefully an early goal, and we can settle the nerves and use that to take into our next league game to, you know, win the league, which is quite important. We've won a penalty here, I think. Shea Lacey is the standout star of the Conference League run. He's another one who's played almost every game in this competition. And last time I checked, was still the top scorer in the Conference League, I think, because he very much padded his stats in the early rounds. We had to do a playoff to get into this competition, which is ridiculous, really. With Manchester bleeping United, and we had to do a playoff to get into the Conference League. But Lacey got about 53 goals as part of that playoff, I think. And there is Ilunga from the spot. It's 1-0 on the night. It's 3-0 on aggregate. And that should be Manchester United into the Conference League final. Unless something goes spectacularly wrong from here. If we can grab a couple more before half time, I can settle my not liking to do really long episodes issues and just end the episode at half time because we know we're already there. Because there's nothing that can possibly go wrong once you've made it to half time and you're well ahead in a match, is there? I know that to be fact. Right, Sudakov from range. It comes back off the crossbar. Excellent effort from him, who, I mean, it's weird, really. He's 29 and about to join us permanently. Agate's just turned 31 and we're moving him on because he's too old. Sudakov is probably in just for the one more year. We've got a lot out of him this year as a rotation option in midfield, and he'll probably have 1 year here as a permanent player. This time next year, we'll be looking to move him on because he'll be turning 30 and I'll be done with him. Although the whole getting rid of the old men thing, it becomes less of an issue now. When I first arrived at Manchester United, it was all about get rid of the old men, bring in the youngsters. But we've done that now. If we now have a few of these players get a little bit older, it's not the end of the world because there's now that flow of youngsters ready to come through. It's not an aging squad that needs freshening up. It doesn't matter if we've got 2 or 3 30-year-olds knocking around the squad because we've got 8 Wonderkids, probably more than 8 Wonderkids. We've got plenty of Wonderkids. Still only 1-0 at half time, but as you can see, we're absolutely dominating the match. And I think we're about to rubber stamp it. Lacey with the in-swinging corner to this near post, not able to beat the first man. We're supposed to be better than that, but it's back with Lacey. Lacey cuts it back to Sudakov, and he now does have his goal. 13 for the season for him, which, bearing in mind, he's probably our fourth choice midfielder. Again, we've played a lot of football this year, and a lot of his goals will have come in the Conference League because a lot of his appearances have come in the Conference League. But even with that being said, it's an impressive first season at Manchester United for him. Everton Antonio has had a couple of efforts from range in this match as well, but not able to find the target with that one. And now with half an hour to go and a 4-0 aggregate lead, we probably need to be looking at these boys and thinking in terms of who needs a rest, because once again, in a couple of days' time, we've got another Premier League match and we need a point. We still just need a point, but we'd like that trophy lift. Everton Antonio, forward to Lacey. And Lacey now dancing past the fullback, crosses it in on his weak foot, looking for Sudakov, who'd burst forward out of the midfield. But Monaco get it comfortably clear, and they've done a decent counter-attack here. And, I mean, that was very nearly their first goal of the game, with their first shot of the game. But Peretz not really doing much in terms of trying to make the save. Maninho gives the ball away, but Mamishi's there to deliver it to Everton Antonio, who seems desperate for a goal today. Everton Antonio again floats the crossover. Ireland is there. 21 goals now for club captain Joe Ireland, playing on the wing today. Obviously, more often than not, he'll play in central midfield, as he has done, but he is a natural on the left wing as well. And when he plays out there, he is an enormous goal threat because he's a big boy. I think he's 6'1", 6'2". And that far post goal threat is impressive stuff. Right, let's take off the tired-legged boys. Ireland is certainly one of them. So Otter is going to come on for him. I don't think Ilunga needs to stay on the pitch. Samu can come on for him. Larson is another one who's been struggling a little bit for fitness lately. He's missed a lot of football recently because he's struggling with fitness. I think he's one of our older players. I say older, he's like 28, I think, but he's struggling with playing 3 times a week. And Peretz very much not covering himself in glory today. We've got him in for I think this is the first time you've seen him, a rare opportunity for him to play. But we've got the best goalkeeper in the world as our starter and the best young goalkeeper in the world off to the under-20s World Cup this summer. Peretz probably knows his days at Manchester United are numbered because he's in the middle of a quality sandwich. Although that would be like calling a ham sandwich a bread sandwich, because the quality would be the bread in that situation. So actually, he's a not very good sandwich with 2 excellent pieces of bread. I said I was going to try and rush through the episode. Let's get back to that, shall we? Final substitutions made. And we're just waiting for that. That's the symbol for rubber stamp. Waiting for the rubber stamp. If you ever see anyone doing that, they want the rubber stamp for getting through to the final. That's all that means, I think. People do that symbol to me a lot, and I think it does. They just want me to rubber stamp things. Right, Samu has scored again. He likes scoring in front of you lot, doesn't he? Did he manage to stay on side? He's another one playing for his contract, playing for his squad spot next year, because we've got so many good attackers and more coming in. He'll see that offer we've just made for Heilbronn and know that his days are probably numbered, but he's scored again, and I mean, he's not a bad guy to have around. He's very useful. He's a big boy. He's a good finisher. Now we're using him in the right role. He's scoring goals as well, but just not enough. He needs to be getting Erling Haaland numbers to nail down a spot in this squad, and he just isn't. But that is us through to 2 finals. Conference League, there you go. We're going to sort Heilbronn out. But we're in the Conference League, the final of which is at Villa Park, interestingly. So tomorrow, potentially 3 trophy lifts. We'll do Sheffield United in the league, where we just need a point to win the Premier League, and then Ipswich and Eintracht Frankfurt in the 2 finals, and Manchester United could win a treble in my first season at the club. Greatest manager in their history, presumably. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.